Hello, I'm Cameron Randall, rector of Eastern Shore Chapel in Virginia Beach, conveying my greetings today to all those attending our virtual council, to the bishop, to the delegates, and to all those who are viewing and or participating in any fashion. On behalf of the standing committee of our diocese, I'd like to provide you with a bit of an overview of the past year in taking a look through the minutes of the monthly meetings during the year of 2021. A very poignant thread became apparent, beginning with those early meetings in February and March of 2021. We started our time together as a standing committee each month with an update on how our parishes were coping with the changes and the adaptations made necessary by COVID-19. That is a process, unfortunately, all too familiar with all of us now. This year, in the new year of 2022, in our meetings in January and February, we began with an update on how our parishes are coping with the new challenges posed by COVID variants. The fluidity and the necessity of adapting to constant change, again, is something that we're all familiar with, and we on standing committee are no strangers to that process. I'm joined by a stellar group over the course of this past year. Mr. Rusty Bishop, Ms. Helen Sharp Williams, Ms. Rose Parker, the Reverend Samantha Vincent Alexander, and the Reverend Andy Wagodsky-Roars. All are a part of this group, along with those who join us on a monthly basis, Canon Roy Hoffman, and of course, Bishop Susan Haynes. The Standing Committee serves as an ecclesial authority for the diocese in the absence of a bishop. I'm grateful to tell you, though, that we very much have a bishop, and she is entirely present. So the Standing Committee serves as a council of advice for our bishop, and by extension, we hope, a council of support for Bishop Haynes. In that context, during the course of our monthly meetings, we have discussed matters relating to the health and welfare of our parishes across the diocese. We talk about our individual home parishes as well as the churches in this diocese collectively. We've spoken at length at various points about the mental and the physical and the emotional well-being of our clergy. These are tumultuous times, and it's easy to become fatigued, it's easy to become isolated, just worn out, frustrated, and despondent. It's true of all folks whose lives intersect with the church during this pandemic, and clergy are no exception to that. Also, we have looked into concern for a similar well-being of our bishop. One can only imagine the challenges and the pressures and the stresses afforded a new bishop entering into ministry during a pandemic. Through our monthly dialogue with Canon Roy Hoffman, we stay apprised of both clergy and of parishes in transition. The world does not stop even during this challenging time. It doesn't stop for careers who are morphing and who are realigning, and for parishes who are experiencing both the consequences and the opportunities associated with that reality. Over the past year, Standing Committee has kept abreast of the emergence of new ventures in ministry, like the Peninsula Ministry Partnership. We've been tuned in to the establishment of diocesan-level positions for evangelism and for diversity. We've been a part of assessing the implementation of the bishop's 5 priority initiatives. And from time to time, we are called upon to weigh in on sensitive matters on the bishop's plate. The Standing Committee is tasked with approving all issues stemming from the sale of property within the diocese. This year has been no exception to those series of exchanges. This past year, we signed off on property sold by St. Michael's Bonaire, St. James Boyton, Our Savior in Midlothian, Trinity Portsmouth, St. Paul's Newport News, and Holy Apostles in Virginia Beach. In league with the national church, our Standing Committee is called upon from time to time to provide its consent to the election or the appointment of bishops. In the past year, we consented to the election of Ruth Woodliff Stanley as Bishop of the Diocese of South Carolina, of Elizabeth Monett as Bishop of the Diocese of Iowa, Matthew Cowden as Bishop of the Diocese of West Virginia, Elizabeth Bonfort Gardner as Bishop of the Diocese of Nevada. And just this last month, we consented to the appointment of Bishop Fraser Lawton as Assistant Bishop in the Diocese of Dallas. Closer to home, Standing Committee is honored to work with our own Diocesan Commission on Ministry to approve those individuals called by God and community to a life of ordained ministry. In this past year, we have given the green light to the Reverend Darlene Jackson, called to the vocational diaconate, and to the soon-to-be Reverend Jean Vinson, called to Episcopal priesthood. At mid-year, on July 23rd, the Standing Committee and the Church in Southern Virginia and the Church Universal suffered a real loss with the death of Alice Webley. Alice was a member of Standing Committee. She was a lifelong member of the Union of Black Episcopalians. I had the pleasure of working with her for a decade as a member of Repairs of the Breach, our own diocesan initiative toward racial justice. When Alice died and a celebration of her life was conducted at All Saints in Virginia Beach in September, I can tell you that the profound loss began to be tinged with joy and gratitude as we celebrated a life given to service to the church, a life that was exemplary in its relentless commitment to seeking justice and representation and reparation for those who have been harmed by others. Alice Webley's service to the Standing Committee, to our church in Southern Virginia, and to the church overall will be a lasting and eternal tribute. Our best continues to be given to her husband, John, and to their sons and to their extended families. Along the way, we were able to, courtesy of the Executive Committee, welcome Ms. Rose Parker, who has stepped in to fulfill the unexpired term of Alice Webley. Now, I'll tell you on a personal note in conclusion, this week in Western Kansas, my stepfather turns 88 years of age. He's not an Episcopalian, but he is a very committed Christian. He is a man of great faith. He is also a man who finds a good bit of our language and our vocabulary and our liturgy quite fascinating. When I shared with him that my own tenure, along with that of Ms. Helen Sharp Williams, would be coming to an end on the Standing Committee this month, he had one question for you. Does that mean you'll get to sit down now? As we move forward during this time, it's imperative that we retain not just our commitment and our conviction toward hope and faith, but that we also resolve to retain our sense of humor, along with our patience with one another. Those elements combined will continue to get us together. They've served us well as a committee. I know they've served our individual parish as well as critical elements during the last 2 years, and I know we'll do so in the future. Thank you, and God bless.